Hello, I'm State Senator Nickie Antonio from the 25th Senate District.
And I'm State Representative Nickie Antonio from the 13th House District. Welcome to Ohio in Focus.
Thanks for joining us for Ohio in Focus, the program that brings state government to you. I'm your host, Mike Rao. Today we're talking about the CARE Act, legislation sponsored in the Senate by Senator Nickie Turner of Cleveland and in the Ohio House by State Representative Nickie Antonio of Lakewood. Representative Antonio, Senator Turner, welcome to Ohio in Focus.
Thank you. Nice to be here this morning, Mike.
So it's the Compassionate Assistance for Rape Emergencies Act, the CARE Act for short.
Yes.
Just kind of tell me basically what this is all about.
This would require all hospital emergency rooms to provide sexual assault survivors with treatment that can prevent pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections. The important key element of this bill is that they need to provide the information to the rape victims.
And this is something that is maybe happening in some hospitals, but not in all right now.
And not enough. I mean, it's tragic to have to endure rape in the first place, but the tragedy is just compounded when the victim is in the emergency room and she is not offered the ability to get to receive treatment. So yes, it's happening in some, but not in all. And the efforts of our bill is to make sure that all hospitals in the state of Ohio offer this to the victim so that she can make the choice.
I think to a lot of people, it strikes them as, it's common sense.
This is common sense legislation. It's come up a few times. This is not the first time the bill's been introduced. But when we get down into the details of the specific piece of legislation, it really does get down to the basics of information about preventing a pregnancy after a sexual assault and leaving that decision to the sexual assault victim.
And that's the point here, is that it's really up to the victim or survivor of this. And it's not the hospital imposing anything, a requirement or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Right, absolutely. The choice is up to the survivor. And also, this is not a pro or anti-abortion this is really about the choice, and the emergency contraception only works before the pregnancy. So in our minds, this is something that whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, we all can get behind ensuring that a survivor has all of the options available to her to make sure that we give her back the power. And what better way to do that than in the emergency room to make sure that she has the array of treatment that's available to help her overcome this crisis.
And there's also the emergency part of this in terms of timing. So it's very critical that this information is provided as soon as possible, as soon as a sexual assault survivor comes to the emergency room.
So why isn't it already state law? Why has this not happened up until this point? What's the reason for opposition that some people may have?
I always enjoy getting that question because I have a hard time understanding why it's not the law at this point already myself. And maybe Senator Turner, you can talk a little bit if you've had experience with this in the past.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And in this General Assembly, we have spent, in my opinion, too much time trying to regulate a woman's womb instead of giving women are equal citizens in this society, but General Assemblies across this nation, and we have a Congress that's preoccupied with telling women what to do. Well, in this case, you just had a woman go through a life-altering situation that is very unpleasant, and to continue to victimize her by not allowing her to have access to this treatment it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. People are letting their ideologies get in the way of doing the right thing, and the right thing is to allow the victim to have a chance for choice of treatment.
So in a sense, it's the state of Ohio being able to reinforce the constitutional right afforded to women already their right to privacy, their right to make decisions about medical procedures. And in this case, it's merely preventing the pregnancy. And also, we should not ignore the other part of this, which is to also prevent a sexually transmitted infection.
And to that point about the sexually transmitted infection, men are raped too. It's more often that a woman is raped, but that component of the bill has no gender bias. I mean, any rape victim would be afforded the opportunity to have that treatment, and that is so important. It's about the health and well-being of the victim, whether they're male or female, although overwhelmingly this impacts women.
Do you think people maybe are a little confused at the difference between emergency contraception and what may be called the abortion pill or whatever? Is that perhaps some of the issue here?
I believe there's a lot of confusion around that. I have also heard that there's concern about how far the ability of a hospital's personnel to make decisions and make recommendations is. This bill, and I am more than happy to talk to any hospital association about what their concerns are and how they already offer emergency treatment, because there are protocols in place. This bill actually complements the protocol that was recently introduced by Attorney General DeWine in terms of how to have the rape kits available and in the emergency rooms. And so this just is a part of sensible protocol. It complements the protocols that are already there.
I wanted to pick up on something that Senator Turner alluded to, the legislation that we've seen in this General Assembly. Seems to be one bill after another which infringes or goes beyond just infringing on women's rights. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, go ahead, Representative. I can see the passion about this.
Well, there have been more than 9 bills in the House. Yeah. It has been a really rough first term for me in terms of dealing with these bills, and there have been attempts, many attempts, to limit the decision-making ability of women in the state of Ohio when it comes to reproductive health choices. It's been an assault. We have pushed back in terms of identifying the agency, the importance of understanding and recognizing that women are complete citizens recognized in this country and in the state of Ohio. At the same time, I've introduced a bill called Prevention First, which I know Senator Turner supports as well, that really says if our concern is unintended pregnancies that may result in a possible abortion, the best way to combat that is to give comprehensive reproductive health information to people, to provide contraceptives, and to do everything that we can to prevent pregnancies from occurring in the first place.
And there's some hypocrisy here too, Mike. I mean, a lot of our colleagues talk about small government or getting government out of the lives of people, let people make decisions for themselves. But that dogma seems to stop when it comes to a woman. We're not smart enough or we're too fragile to make those kinds of decisions for ourselves. We are going backwards in time, and I don't know many people who are pro-abortion, but I do know people who are pro-choice, and this is about choice. It has nothing to do with abortion whatsoever, but we should all think about that. People have mothers, they have sisters, they have aunts, they have women who mean something to them in their lives, and if they respect those women, respect the women enough to know that she can make her own decisions about her body and about her life. And this right here is really about care. It is about compassion, having compassion on survivors of rape, and that's so important.
Well, I want to give both of you an opportunity if you'd like to say one last thing and make one last point.
Well, Senate Bill 283 is the bill in the Senate, and I'll let Representative give the bill number in the House, but it is so important that we do have compassion for victims of rape, and this is something that we all can agree on, whether we're pro-choice or pro-life, or whether we're Republican or Democrat, male or female, that it is the right thing to do, that when one has undergone this kind of tragic incident, that when they reach the emergency room, that they're given the plethora of options to choose from in terms of their health.
And the CARE Act is House Bill 419 in the House. And I would echo what Senator Turner said. And also, this bill, we've been asked, why now, why again? I believe it's always the right time to do the right thing. And I really believe that if people feel as strongly as they do about unintended pregnancies, about our need to really embrace every child that's born in this state, we should also embrace every woman, every person who lives in this state, and support their choices. And when they've been victimized, when they are a sexual assault survivor, we need to give them every means possible to regain their autonomy, regain their sense of control over their own body. And this is one of the ways to do that, by providing all the information, all of the technology that's available to them for them to make decisions about their health care decisions in the future.
Okay, great. Thanks to both of you for joining us to talk about the CARE Act. Well, if you'd like to contact Senator Turner, call her office at 614-466-4583 or send an email to sd25@senate.state.oh.us. And for Representative Antonio, call 614-466-5921 or send your emails to district13@ohr.state.oh.us. Thanks for watching Ohio in Focus.